Hello guys, welcome to Top Anime Sensei. This video is the continuation video after Land of a Demon Lord. So if you have not watched it, then please watch it. The link is in the description. So without any further delay, let's start. But before we start, please like, subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. In that case, we are not to be outdone. Let's attack the labyrinth as soon as possible. Calgurio felt assured because Gaster and Farage had been given such a large force that he did not think they could be defeated. He dismissed the possibility of such a defeat, believing that it could never happen. On the contrary, he even considered things to be more convenient. Now that Farage had encountered Veldora, only the Demon Lord remained in the labyrinth. The 4 heavenly kings under his command were also said to be troublesome, but they were no match for the elite of the Augmented Legion. Without any hesitation, Calgurio decided to concentrate on the labyrinth in front of him. Calgurio's location was in a cleared area. It was so vast that a large city could completely fit in it. Near the center of the clearing, there stood a large gate that served as the entrance to the labyrinth. Magical exploration had not revealed any traps or other harmful objects. There was only the Great Gate, which seemed to be waiting for Calgurio and the others to challenge it. Calgurio believed that the words inscribed on the gate, "The weak are unworthy to enter," were proof that he was not mistaken. How dare they hide everything for fear of being plundered by us? You have the wits of a monster, don't you? Fear of looting in the name of local procurement was a common thing in every country. As a matter of fact, it was a problem if food could not be procured. For the Imperial Army with a large army, it was sure to be a serious problem. Tactically, it was also recognized as an effective means. But this is too easy. Calgurio laughed at the shallow intelligence of the monster. Soldiers who had been strengthened by otherworldly science and magic were able to perform at full strength without eating or drinking for a week. A single piece of energy-balanced portable food could supply enough energy for a day's activity. Each soldier carried 20 of them, and their consumption to date had been as calculated. They had already distributed the amount they consumed, and they were fully capable of continuing the war without depending on the food supply of this city. The small size and light weight of the portable food items made the logistics as simple as possible. Drinking water, the biggest problem, could be produced by magic. There was problem at all. The elite generals could operate in the labyrinth for 27 days. The enemy may have placed their hopes on the greatest weakness of military operations with a large army, the supply cutoff. But he had to say that they were naive in their thinking. Do they think they've won just because they cut off our supply line? That's foolish. Calgurio laughed mockingly, and one of his staff agreed with him. He was a man from a noble family who was trying to suck out the sweet opportunities from Calgurio. Hahaha, Calgurio-sama. We shouldn't make them sound so pitiful. Demon Lord Rimuru made a mistake right from the start. He overlooked our glorious Augmented Legion and sent Veldora, his strongest hand, against the decoys. And before he realized it, they were surrounded by so many champions. The other chiefs of staff followed suit. Well, I can't blame him for thinking that. Even though they are decoys, they have a large force. That's right, it is tempting to use maximum force, but I can understand that. Calgurio felt better after hearing the conversation among the chiefs of staff. He may talk like a demon lord, but that's all he is. They must be shrinking back in the depths of the labyrinth by now. Calgurio and the others ridiculed the demon lord's shallow thinking, and were convinced of the success of this expedition. Wahaha, you are right. All we have to do now is to drag the demon lord to Calgurio-sama and cut off his head. Then Calgurio-sama will be a champion demon lord killer. The aristocratic chief of staff lifted up Calgurio with his words. Not bad, Calgurio thought. First, they needed to attack this labyrinth and build a foothold here. He would build a military base and use the momentum to overrun the west. If he didn't do it soon, Gladium with his magic beast core would overrun the western nations from the north. He really wanted to get out of the Great Jura forest before that happened. However, there was no need to panic. Their accomplishments would certainly be diminished, but only slightly. The long-cherished wish of the Empire, the defeat of the storm dragon Veldora, with such a great achievement, other feats would be insignificant. If the head of the Demon Lord Rimuru was added to that list, Calgurio was sure to be chosen as the greatest contributor to the Empire. Like Calgurio, the chiefs of staff did not seem to doubt their victory. After all, they were a huge army of 700,000 men. Looking at the majesty of their army, no one could even think of defeat. Let's set up a barrier here and then make a camp. Then deploy troops one after another. Let's attack the labyrinth in earnest. Leave it to us. We'll proceed as scheduled. No objections were raised. The situation was not so urgent that they had to go out of their way to cause discomfort. As for the glory of marching into the west, they would let Gladium take them. That was the common understanding among those present. For now, this was more important. They were more interested in the treasures that could be gained in the labyrinth. Their greed had won out. In any case, it was a simple and clear plan to flood the labyrinth with a strategy of quantitative attacks, and to plunder the labyrinth by the roots. The fact that there was no opposition to this strategy was evidence that they were dazzled by their immediate profit. Confident of their victory, Kulgurio's group was honest about their desires. They had no doubt that the share of the treasure obtained in the labyrinth would enrich their own pockets. And so, the labyrinth siege began, and immediately following, those poor, clueless people happily descended the stairs, never to be climbing back up them again. The labyrinth does not reject any visitors. Even if they did not follow the rules, it was all the same. It was just that the safety locks had all been disengaged. What awaited them beyond that point was the true form of the labyrinth that no one had ever experienced before, the true hell of this world. The current location was one of the innermost rooms of the labyrinth. It was a secret meeting room that even Rimuru did not know about. Gathered in this vast hall were the rulers of the labyrinth. Normally, these people would not gather here like this. The fact that all of them are now here in this room showed just how important this meeting was. Beretta, Ramirez's errand boy, deputy, and agent, was at the head of the group. There were also the 4 Dragon Kings, the Fire Dragon Lord, Ice Dragon Lord, Wind Dragon Lord, and Earth Dragon Lord, occupied the 4 sides of the hall. And in the center of the hall, seated at a round table made of ebony, sat the others. Guardian of the 90th floor, 9-Head Kumara. Guardian of the 80th floor, Insect Kaiser Zegion. Floor boss of the 79th floor, Insect Queen Apido. Guardian of the 70th floor, Immortal King Adalman. Vanguard of the 70th floor, Death Paladin Albert. These were the men known as Dungeon's Elite 10. There were 3 others who were out of place. Next to Adalman was a sharp-eyed old man named Gadra. At the end of the table, Gozer and Mezer, the 50th floor guardians, were participating in a small group, aware that they were out of place among the strong. Gozer and Mezer usually thought they could beat any opponent. However, after witnessing the existence of the elite, they had long realized that there was a stark difference between them. So for now, they were sitting in an uncomfortable position. There was another reason why Gozer and Mezer didn't dare be too unbridled. It was because those who had gathered here were always quarreling over who was the strongest. Even now, there was a fierce clash of spirits, and the space felt heavy as if it was distorted by an unusual pressure. Even Gadra, who was supposed to be a newcomer, was taking part in the struggle with impunity. Seeing this, Gozer and Mezer realized what they amounted to. We can't win against real, crazy people, they thought. Gadra was a great man because he made them, who had been fighting for 100 years, think in that way. Beretta and the Dragon Kings did not join in the fight, but they also did not intend to stop it either. They were taking the attitude that each of them should do as they pleased. While this may not be the reason, the debate on who was the most powerful among the Elite 10 was getting more and more heated. The case of Adalman, who was directly praised by Rimuru and moved up the rank of the Elite 10, was still fresh in their memory. After that, everyone's spirits were on a high note. Each person believed that they could be more useful. The lower-level managers tended to feel this way, because they did not have much to do. They wanted a chance to make a difference. Gadra, a newcomer, was eager to be useful to his friend Adalman. He thought that if he could make a prominent contribution here, his position would be secured in earnest. Adalman was Adalman, and was eager to fight for Rimuru even more than he was doing now, and hopefully, he could enhance his own position. Thus, the other guardians were an eyesore. They were not enemies, but they were still an obstacle. Albert followed Adalman. In addition, Albert had the ambition to make his name famous by enhancing his own military achievements. He was a surprisingly ambitious man. Apido and Kumara were both women, and they had a very bad relationship with each other. Kumara, in particular, guarded the depths of the 90th floor. Therefore, she was rarely seen in battle. Kumara was jealous of Apido's success against the Holy Knights. Therefore, she was very much opposed to her and encouraged this out of a sense of rivalry. Apido was competitive and would not back down from a challenge from Kumara. Therefore, the two of them were always at odds with each other. Zegion was the top of the labyrinth, although he seemed to always keep his nose out of things. He was the one who remained the object of everyone's jealousy. He was involved in this conflict, whether he wanted to be or not. Thus, the relationship between the strongmen of the labyrinth was not very good. However, if they were asked whether they truly hated each other, the truth was that they did not. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys have not watched my other videos, then please watch them. The links are in the description. And don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss the updates.